This is Kathy Beal of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with a quick look at the chart of the NRA. It's the center wheel using a time of November 20th, 1871 for its founding. If you look online, you will see an earlier date of November 17th. I checked in the records of the Secretary of State for the state of New York. November 20th is what is shown as the filing date. If it was the 17th, the sun would be a couple of degrees earlier, and so would the moon. The moon might actually have been in Aquarius at that point. At any rate, we're going with November 20th, 1871, and I have put a chart wheel, a solar chart with the sun on the ascendant, and you see that there's a 27-degree Scorpio sun, and it is trining pretty closely Jupiter in, let me get this for you. Here's the sun, and it's trining Jupiter in Cancer very closely in the ninth house of policy, legislation, life philosophy. Again, solar wheels can give information. So the fact that we don't have an actual time and an actual ascendant, we can still get a lot of information from this chart. There's a terrific amount of emotionality built into this, and a Scorpio sun, well, we are talking about an organization that's built around killing machines, killing devices. It's one way of looking at it. And let's see, the other thing that I find particularly interesting in the NRA chart is that Mars and Saturn are conjunct, with Mars actually slightly ahead of the conjunction. So they were recently conjunct just before this was filed. A Mars-Saturn conjunction is start-stop. It's 1 foot on the gas pedal, 1 foot on the brake. This organization was built in from the outset of, I don't know, we look at that, the Capricorn being institutional, structural. Could there be a push-pull constantly built into this? It is possible. But I want to pay much more attention to what's going on with the NRA now. And I have the outer wheel is when the shooting started in Uvalde, Texas on May 22nd. And the contacts are actually pretty frightening. Now, we'll start with this trine between the sun and Jupiter in the NRA's chart, and notice that it formed a grand trine with Neptune. I don't know, delusional, crazy, who knows. The moon in Pisces touching a tremendous amount of people, and Mars in his last gasp in Pisces, completing the trine. Mars exactly trine Jupiter, the moon exactly trine the sun in the NRA chart, and Mars at the last degree of the zodiac, which is known as the degree of ultimate sorrow. Grand trine, this was a recipe for incredible, an event that hits many, many people on an emotional level and involving with Jupiter in Cancer, family issues in a huge, huge way. Now, when there's a grand trine, you've got this unimpeded round robin flow of energy, and you always look for a point in the middle to turn it into a kite, to bring it down. And this one has two. One of them is Pluto in Capricorn. In the Pluto, the sign, the ruler of the NRA's sun, the ruler of Scorpio, Pluto in Capricorn at 28 Capricorn, in between the midpoint between the moon and Mars. at 27 and 29. Pisces, Pluto in Capricorn, deconstruction of institutions and crumbling from within, who knows, but a tremendous carnage. That's another way of looking at this. With that being the grounding point, one place for all of this emotionality, or what brought it down to earth, made it real. The Lord of the underworld, the God of death, in a sextile, a doorway opening to the hell realms, to Mars, the God of war. But this grand trine has a second grounding point, and that is Mercury, retrograde Mercury in Taurus, which is in a process. It's in a three-part dance with Pluto in Capricorn, but retrograde Mercury in Taurus, making it very real, very tangible, very tactile, perhaps adding to the physicality of what happened, but definitely driving home the values and the cost of what is going on here. I will point out, not coincidentally, that the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse happened on the NRA sun on May 16th. So what is happening now is likely not just another mass shooting where we just put it behind us. That lunar eclipse is what ushered in the carnage in Buffalo, and now we have and also a shooting in Los Angeles that weekend, and now we have children being murdered in Texas. That lunar eclipse on the Scorpio sun in the NRA's chart is bringing a lot up to the surface, a lot to light, a lot up for re-examination. A lunar eclipse always brings revelations, and it always marks a chapter ending. Could this have something to do with bringing the money? Scorpio is really big into money. Information coming out about where the funding for the NRA has come from. You don't have to search too far to find, goes two ways. One, the members of Congress who have had massive contributions from the NRA. And secondly, a lot of indications in recent years of money coming into the NRA from one foreign country and then going from the NRA to these various politicians. So watch for information coming out that has to do with funding, with money, with power, with control. There are a few other things coming up that I want to bring to your attention. Let's look at transiting Uranus at 15 degrees Taurus. Pluto in the NRA chart is at 18 degrees Taurus. In July and August, actually from July until October, Uranus will be sitting on that Pluto, zapping that Pluto in Taurus with all kinds of energy, shaking things up, drawing attention to it, breaking things up. Perhaps there will be much more coming to light about the moneyed interests involved with the NRA, money going into the NRA, money coming out of the NRA. Additionally, the reason that Uranus is going to be sitting on that degree so long is that this is the degree where Uranus stations retrograde, and it will return to this point in April of 2023. after it finishes its retrograde. One other thing I want to point out, look at Saturn at 25 Aquarius. So Aquarius is the sign of the collective, of the future. Saturn, is it, what we believe about our responsibilities to each other? Is there authoritarianism coming out of this? Saturn is moving into a square to the NRA Sun. Square is very uncomfortable. It's a demand for action, and it will be exact next February. So the Saturn square is exact in February. Uranus shakes things up before then and then returns to Pluto in April. It is possible that this is a time frame for something different happening with the role of the NRA. I think it's unlikely that it will continue to be business as usual. Let me see real quick if there's anything else that I want to point to. I'm sure if we sat and studied this for an extremely long time, we'd come up with other stuff. Just a few things that jump out at me. Transiting Venus, which has to do with our values, in an inconjunct to, oh, there we go. There's a yod. It's in an inconjunct to the NRA's Sun, Jupiter trine. Nope, that's not a yod. What am I saying? Anyway, inconjunct, interesting. Well, fighter instincts. I think this is part of the divine feminine standing up and saying, we've had it. We have had it. We will do things differently. No, actually, let me clarify that. Let me correct that. Venus is in a square to Jupiter and an inconjunct to the sun. There we go. So it's not a yod, but our values, our collective values, the fighter instinct, the protective, I'm going to go kick your teeth in instinct of the feminine, squaring Jupiter in Cancer, which is bringing the family and the child element to this, and Venus in that inconjunct to the NRA Sun is really screaming for an adjustment in the NRA's existence and how it does business. And transiting Venus is also in a semi-sextile to transiting Neptune, a really tight one. That's this. So semi-sextile is real uncomfortable, and it just nags you and nags you and nags you and makes you look at stuff that you have avoided. And it's what I call the pebble in your shoe that bugs you and bugs you and bugs you until you finally just take it out and shake it up and deal with it. Now, also notice that transiting Venus is in a sextile to transiting Saturn. It's actually a very tight one. It's sextile by degree. That's an opening. There is an opening here for collective action, an opening here for perhaps governmental action. We'll see, but an opening for a collective response to what has been going on. Again, a terrific amount that could be discussed here. Oh, yeah, transiting Venus is also T-squaring. Well, now let's see, hold on. There's a T-square to Venus, transiting Venus. So transiting Pluto is opposite the NRA's Jupiter, and both of them are squaring transiting Venus. So there's a demand for anger, for mothers rising up, for the feminine rising up, for very strong huntress. We're not going to take this anymore action. And I would expect women and mothers to play and nurturers. Okay, men can be nurturing too, to play a tremendous role in what happens next with the NRA's existence. Just a few thoughts. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please like, share, subscribe, pass it along. Everyone, be kind to people, please. Okay, bye.